Bרוכה, Talk&walk podcast that is going to turn you to your own mentor, Litan Holly Weinberg, the daughter of the queen, Smadar Weinberg, my sister and my mom. And we saw that you are so in love. When I say in love, I'm talking about the girls. He's so חתיך, I can't even listen to what you have to say. What a חתיך, אני מתה. Like I had, I think, 23 messages at least, and the age, it wasn't like, I didn't have an average age. It was like between 2.5 years old to 42.5. Choose your type. Joe Alexander, a former NBA player, a lot of beautiful things, but today it's going to be the first time that he's going to announce about his spiritual channel, because I made him to do that.
רגע, אני הבאתי דרבוקה.
Great, I don't know Hebrew right now, it's in English, but the name of the episode, The Power of Spirituality. Why spirituality is a super strength? To the question. Hey sisters, I'm dying to get know more about the spiritual world that became stronger during the corona pandemic. There are a million terms and a million people who use words such as yogi or spirit or spiritual energy, and more than are not my cup of tea. I've been on a couple of dates with girls that define themselves as spiritual. I didn't be with him in a date, but I'm spiritual. And it made me lose interest in them. And speaking of limits beliefs, perhaps the fact that maybe I don't understand what is a limiting belief will give me a most connection with the girls that I do want. A non-spiritual person, at least not yet. Cool, funny. I think that spiritual or spirituality, every person that you will ask will tell you a different thing. And this is why I'm going to ask you what is a spirituality for you.
Wow, putting me on the spot with a heavy question here.
This is a heavy question?
Yeah.
I thought that love is dangerous. It's a heavy question.
I mean, spirituality is so broad. It's like, that's why I think a lot of people like it, is because they feel like they can use it however they want. It's in that way, I think spirituality is like allowing you to put your own identity on something that, you know, you can't really define.
What is spirituality for you?
It's something very intimate. I think that for me, it's a direct line to God or goddess, whatever we decide, depends on the day. But it's not something that you can define.
Okay.
מה קרה?
I can.
מה קרה?
What's going on right now?
מה קרה עכשיו?
I have to share something not spiritual, like sexual. Okay, like the opposite of that.
Okay, go for it.
She's my mom and my sister, yeah, but I can't ignore her for the fact that you have to zip your shirt or whatever.
את אמרת לי לפתוח.
I was having fun.
Oh my God, you can't say it. It's not my sister, it's my mom, and even if... Never mind, but you want to, okay. I will tell you something. we just...
That's what happened when you...
I tell you what is...
land,
Okay, what happened right now is that our last episode is going to go out on Thursday. It's called Comedy of Mistakes, like about stand-up and stuff. And I think that you are still feeling the energy, you are like channeling it, because you didn't know that.
No.
And then our spirituality episode became a stand-up episode. But when we came back from Miami, we just landed. Our flight was delayed. We are like with 30 hours with no sleep because of the flight is with no hours. He will share with you why or not. But she's going through me before in the security, and she like wearing this nuts, I don't know, like shiny, like sparkles all over her body, and it's the state, it's Miami, and she's getting inside the machine. She's doing that, and then an officer, a female officer, came to her and started touching her boobs, blah 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 blah, touching all her body. And I am not with her. I'm singing from them. And you want to add something about it?
No, she just told me that the sparkling natsnatzim on my dress, they look like something dangerous in the in the machine.
Anyway,
so
she asked her, I have to touch you right now. You want me to take you to a separate room? And my mom, no, touch me in front of everybody. And of course, my daughter is there. And that's it. And then 24 hours later, I'm here, and I'm here, and that's it. This is like not non-spirituality thing without no sleep. But what is spirituality for you?
This is also spirituality.
What?
She wanted to touch me. It's also spirituality.
Okay, so spirituality for you is having love?
No, now seriously, spirituality is something that everyone can define for himself. Everyone is defining it differently from him to some kind of force, like God, like whatever you name it, like the universe. It doesn't matter.
How do you name it?
I'm talking to God.
And you?
I talk to myself.
So yourself is your spirituality?
Well, I think I'm connected to whatever the force is, so.
Yes, so if you speak to yourself, you are speaking with God, not because you are God, because in every one of us there is a part of God. So when we are speaking really seriously to ourselves, it's like speaking with a God. I had an idea sometimes, since I work as a lawyer with couples with problems, and the most important thing is communication. So, and we have problem with communications. It's not a problem to have sex. It's not a problem to laugh. It's a problem to be intimate with communication, to speak about someone's fears and things like this, or needs, or whatever. So I had an idea. Probably Litan Hali will love this idea. She doesn't know this idea.
Idea?
To bring like a Tuki, like the Tuki of Amit today.
Like a bird Tuki?
Like a bird, but not a real one. That the bird has like no. Even the code of my office, I forget today. So the words in English.
Okay, spirituality is...
No, so a tape recorder. So you can speak to the bird with a tape recorder about things that you want, that you need. It's like you're speaking to God when you go to a place that you speak about your needs. It's like with your privacy. And then the other party, like your husband or your wife or whatever, they can listen to the bird and understand it. So it doesn't work. It's not that someone has to tell it to the other person, and it's very difficult.
This is spirituality for you? Communication, this is spirituality for you?
It's not just communication, it's communication with a turkey. So.
Communication with a turkey bird, this is spirituality for you?
Spirituality is communication. It's communication.
There is no wrong, right? I'm just asking for you.
Yes, it's not wrong. Spirituality
right?
is
You're an energy-based
communication with yourself, with a higher self, with God, or whatever you name it.
With the turkey.
And with the turkey, of course.
It's not a turkey, by the way. It's a tuki.
It's a tuki.
But I don't think that you are saying tuki in English. You have this colorful bird that can speak, that can I will speak.
Parrot.
Parrot. Yeah,
parrot.
like
yes,
Johnny
parrot.
Depp, of
yes.
course.
Okay.
Like a parrot.
Okay, so this kind of
but
bird.
the tuki.
It's a tuki. Tuki, it's a cute name.
Okay.
And communication is a very big part of spirituality. Otherwise, everything can be spirituality.
Okay, cool. Now I will give you my answer. I really connect to Joe's answer because I think that each person will define spirituality differently, but not only in the way of how do I call God, but also in the way that we're feeling the spirituality. Because, for example, this is crystals. Yeah, you know, we have crystals. There are believed that each crystal can balance your chakras, and also chakras can get into yoga and spirituality. And this is sage, but this is a red dragon sage, and this is
That's
a green
sage?
Sage.
I thought that was a used tampon.
Use tampons.
Okay.
So bloody, but this is a bloody sage, so maybe it could connect it
So,
somehow.
okay.
But no, why? Okay, but it could be funny in the episode of the mistakes of comedy.
So,
But it's okay if tampons are spirituality for you.
good.
Why am to judge it?
That's the point, is it's subjective.
So, okay, so this is not tampon. You want to touch it?
Sure.
Ah! You see how we do it. But what I'm trying to say is, we are all spirituality, even if you know it or not. If I'm talking to myself, it's not something that I can feel or catch. Okay, we don't have hours at all of sleeping, so go with the flow of our speaking.
Go with
because
the flow.
It's not our native language. But I think that spirituality means that I believe in some force, some power, and not that the word just popped up from nowhere, like המפץ הגדול, I don't know how to say it in English, the big, how do you say it?
Bang.
Bend?
Bang.
Bang?
Yeah.
Like bang bang?
Like bang,
You shut
bang.
me down?
Yeah, sure.
Bang, bang. You
And-
shut me down.
And then I know that I'm here for some journey. And I will say another thing. You don't even have to know or feel or agree that there is something like spirituality. But I want to understand the part of the question that you said, I feel that I can connect to them because of the spirituality. What is the difference between I can connect to some person because he's defining himself spirituality or because he's veggie? We are all different. And it's okay that that you don't feel bound to someone. It's okay. But don't put it under headlines or inside of frames. Because when you do, your mind goes there. This is your car, this is your plan, whatever. And it will go whatever you will tell him to go. And it's something that it's really important to understand. But now, Joe is here because I want to go deep inside of the spirituality, but not in the way of define spirituality. In the way of, like, if you are in a chef restaurant right now, right? There's the chef restaurants that take you to this culinary experience. So we are going to this spirituality chef restaurants, and we're going to test and to taste things inside of the world of spirituality to show you that it's not just one thing. And the first thing that I want to ask you, Joe, you have a channel, right? A secret channel that is going to be explored and today.
Sure.
Tell me about it. Tell everybody
A
about it.
secret channel?
Yeah, so what she's saying is I started a YouTube channel about 10 years ago where I make these documentaries about spiritual-based topics. And I kept it a secret because I was a professional basketball player, and these two topics generally don't go together, basketball and spirituality-based things. So nobody knows about it. I don't use my real name. I use my voice in the videos because they're documentaries, but I don't use my face. And it's a very popular channel. A lot of people connect with it. I think one of the videos is, at 100 million views across different platforms. So it's something that is a popular subject for people. People love spirituality, and I think one of the questions that this guy was asking is I don't know how to connect with it. And I think we're kind of touching the surface of it, which is, man, you get to connect with spirituality however you want. And some people, if they don't start from that, then they can get intimidated because, you know, they sit with a girl on a date like he's talking about, and they're like, I don't know what this is, spirituality. And so they need to start with, like, it's about you. You get to decide how you come into it. So my channel has a very, like, unique brand of spirituality. It's not for everybody, but I will say, like most spiritual things, it's weird. So if you like weird stuff, that's what it's about.
Normal is boring.
Normal is boring. I think that's why a lot of people get into spirituality, because they're like, look, I need something novel, I need something new, I need something exciting. And spirituality, it's like, it's so subjective and everything is possible, nothing's off limits. It's like kind of a place for you to play. Like I can play and explore, and not just explore the outside, but the inside of me. So it's a fun place.
First of all, thank you for that. It was really, it was also with a lot of motion inside of it, but also on point.
תודה.
תודה לך. And I will say another thing. It's also a game. A lot of people go inside of it because it's exciting, and we want to like know, okay, what is my sign? So I'm a Pisces, so oh my God, I have to learn how to balance my emotion or whatever. But I think that sometimes a lot of people also go inside the spirituality because they are going through challenging journey. And I named the episode The Power of Spirituality, why spirituality is the super strength, because I really believe that we all have stories. I believe in that. It doesn't matter what is the story, but we all have the story. But it's so easy for us and natural for us to feel that his story is better than I. She has a better story than I. She has this easier life. But then our focus go outside. And when we are able to connect to the spiritual side in us, it's easier for us to choose life and not to choose what I don't have. Because inside the spirituality, and we are going to taste a lot of things from that, you have a lot of tools that teach you why a bad thing is not a bad thing, and why a crisis can be your lotto ticket. Why I gave one example, why people go into spirituality. He gave one example, games, challenges, and crisis. Give another example that we didn't know.
I think that people are looking for answers. There are so many questions. There are so many things that we don't understand. Why a little baby dies in his bed? He didn't do anything. He couldn't have done any evil. Why did it happen? Things that people are asking, why did it happen to me? I'm so good. I'm so generous. I'm so tzaddik. I don't know. I do.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit, yes. Only me. And bad things happen to me. How come? And why the other guy is so bad, so mean, and look at his life. He lives so peacefully. He has a very good house, life, and things like this. And people are looking for answers. And spirituality can give you an answer that cure the pain, that relax you. That's why it's power, because when people are trying to find a way in life, and they are willing to be open to spirituality as they choose, as they believe, it gives them like a superpower, like they can choose the way. Because sometimes we have dilemmas. We don't know if to do this, to go there, and so people usually are going to people who can read in the coffee,
Yeah.
or in the cards,
Psychics.
and all kind of things. All of these are only tools of communication. they don't have real power, these people. Some of them are liars, but the people who can connect with the tools that they are using, they can sometimes help people if they are not pretend to know what the future will be, because we create our future, and people should know it.
I think that the essence of spirituality is the spirit. This is spirituality. What you put on the spirit afterwards, if you want to use sage to keep your spirit, if you want to open the Zohar and the Dvar Malchut to understand what is the right thing to do right now, what decision will be better for me. This is all like a costumes or ways that you are playing your spirit. And when we understand that we are spirit, first of all, so then we know that even if something bad happened to me, and I don't know, I just went to this car accident and I can't walk, this is the time that my spirit can show me how strong I am. And when do you think was the first time I know that you told me, I always felt as a child that I have this voice inside of me and I went with it. But we are not in the NBA episode right now, and if I'm asking you, when was the first time that you felt spirituality or knew there is a bigger force, whatever?
Okay, so I'll start with what you talked about with couples talking. And sometimes when couples can't talk, you have to just convince them to stop. Like sit, relax, and listen. Close your mouth and use your ears. And that was where I started, was where I learned to stop, close my mouth, and use my ears. I was a kid, but I think that starts your process of spirituality, because maybe you're not listening to another person, but you're listening to something. And it's about stopping and opening up to hear answers. And that's where it started for me.
But do you remember a specific experience, a specific moment that you want to share with us?
Yeah, so I had somebody walk me through a guided meditation. When I was,
How old
I think I was
were you?
11.
11.
It was the first time that I realized I could breathe and feel different and try to control my thoughts. And when you do that, you start to get answers from a different place than normal. And like you said, I think that's kind of, for me, the essence of spirituality is it's a process of ask a question, get an answer. Ask a question, get an answer. And without spirituality, we have these methods to get answers. And spirituality is just like a very different method, because the answers come from places that we can't identify. But when you build your spirituality, you build a relationship with those spaces that you can't identify, but you know that answers are coming from somewhere. And that's what I think is so cool about spirituality is like, look, I know the answer came from somewhere. It's from some force, some entity, some creative force, or inside me. I know it came because I feel it, I hear it. And then you embrace that process. You're like, I need an answer. Okay, I'll go back to that thing that provided me answers before. And then you build and build and build and build and build until one day you're sitting with somebody who's not spiritual and tell them I'm spiritual and they get scared.
That's another thing, because you said before, it's not going together like an NBA play, to play in the NBA and to be spiritual. Mm-hmm. That's why the channel was a secret one,
Okay.
anonymous.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's pretty, because you didn't. Okay, cool. You see, you can be sharp even if you don't have sleeping hours inside of your body, because your spirit is here.
And I wonder why is it like this? I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. I know it for myself. I know that if I'm considered a normal person, mm-hmm. that my legs goes on the ground, yeah. and I'm, let's say, a lawyer or scientific or something that solid. You can put him in a drawer and said, she is like this. Mm-hmm. If you show your spiritual side, suddenly there are people who can look at you as crazy or not stable or other things like this.
Sure.
And people are afraid to be considered as crazy, as not stable, as weird,
Yep.
weirdos, or something like this. For example, I consider myself a logic person.
Yes.
I'm not doing crazy things usually, but I'm very spiritual, and there was time that I could read. I learned for myself, like read the tarot and meet people who knows how to read in the coffee, to read myself. I learned few methods of knowing things, and I wasn't afraid to tell people that I'm also spiritual.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's something can they won't take you seriously if you're spiritual, like if you play in the NBA.
She's asking why
I got it.
why do you really kept the
secret.
the secret of the channel?
Well, because there's no way to measure somebody else's spirituality. And since it's such a broad idea, I don't know if they're practicing spirituality in a healthy way or if a not healthy way. Because there's no metric for it. When I'm asking something that only I can see, only I can talk to, only I have a relationship with, nobody else can look at it and say, okay, this is healthy. So maybe it's healthy, maybe it's not. Like I can talk to someone who is very spiritual and they could be crazy, or someone who's spiritual and they could be very sane and it could be helpful to them. But you don't know looking in from the outside. So in a professional setting, you want to do things that other people can be certain about, they can be sure about. So it's about risk, really. I'm not going to take a risk and have them say, well, he's spiritual, maybe in a good way, but maybe in a bad way. It's my job, you know. I'm not going to risk anything with it.
So it's the risk that you didn't want to take.
Of course.
That someone will look at it in this way.
Yeah.
But now that everybody going to know that, and you also put inside a video of you. How do you feel?
What changed?
Well, my basketball career is mostly over now, so I don't need to protect it like I did before. But, I mean, this side of me that makes these videos is even a bigger side of me than basketball ever was. So I've always planned to expose it at some time. I'm not ashamed of it. I
It's
love it.
interesting. I will tell you why. Because that's cool. I will share as well. I understand why. I understand your choice. But the thing is, spirituality, when you are doing the meditation and you're walking, you're discovering all the time, you need to trust the universe. And if you're trusting the universe that you will fulfill your purpose, you have to go with your truth all the time. And who cares what is going around? And I want to ask you about that point, because what do you think, how do you see that in the way that you wanted to protect something, but if you are really spirituality, you know that it doesn't matter what you will do, you are already protected.
Sure. So there's two sides to that. One side is you got to be yourself authentically, and the other is you got to respect that there's a gap between what you present and how other people interpret it. And you can ignore that forever as long as you want, but it has consequences.
Yeah, but you know, even now, all the time people will put meaning inside of it, and they can judge and all of it. You can't control it. So I'm asking, if you can control it anyway, and you do love yourself and believe in yourself, and you're talking to yourself, and you're connected to the spiritual, why we need to put if it's your truth, and I know it's your truth because I talked with you about it, not here, I'm looking at you when you're speaking about it right now, you feel really connected to that. It's like, it's
a
like
part
a
of
water
you.
for you, okay?
Sure.
Probably it's part of your purpose here, even.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting it out because when something feels that it's our truth, then came this brain. And the brain is a survival brain. And it will tell us stories even if the stories are not the story that my soul really wants to tell. And then we will go through places, and then maybe I will come here right now, and I don't care. And maybe I will tell myself it's because I don't need the basketball, or maybe I just really connected to myself. Maybe now I connected to myself. I know it's part of who I am, and I don't give a F what people say, because the fact that you're not a basketball player right now doesn't mean that people can't judge you right now. Even more, even less, it doesn't matter. You can control it, you can know it, and it doesn't supposed to bother you.
So I'll explain. So you're saying, why not share the parts of you that are truth and the parts of you that are authentic? Why hide them? And the reason is that sometimes sharing something doesn't mean that you've shared it. If it's something that's so complex that it would take 1,000 hours to really share it, if you share it with somebody in 5 minutes, you didn't really share it. And because it's this complex and you're only able to share this much, the space for them to misinterpret your truth is too big. If somebody ever in the basketball world came to me and said, Joe, I'm so interested in what you're doing here, I want to sit with you for 10 hours and have you explain it to me, I would say, let's do it. But in the real world, it's not possible. People judge what you're doing based on a small label. They watch something for 5 minutes, and then they make a judgment on it, which is totally fine. But the point is, it's not really sharing your truth if you only have a tiny window to present it. And if what you have to present is way too big to fit through that window, then I'm not going to put it out there to be misinterpreted. And that's just recognizing the logistics of how people don't always have time to digest all the complex things that you have going on. And I take it as like something to be proud about. Like you can say, I feel ashamed that I'm hiding something, but I feel proud to be hiding something because I know it's so big and so complex that I got to hide it, because otherwise it's going to be misinterpreted. If someone wants to hear the real truth of it, they can come to me and we can do that in a very intimate setting. But until then, I'm going to keep it for me.
So I have another question.
Yalla.
I am a person. I'm coming to the YouTube channel right now. And I have, I don't know, how many episodes do you have inside of it?
Not many. A dozen. Yeah, 15. Yeah.
15.
Okay.
And now you share it to you, right? Because you put your face in the video.
Uh-huh.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, if I misunderstood you, your words are now. You feel that you succeed to put the complex and not half of it, right?
Hello.
No. Okay. So
with my channel, I get 50% people think I'm crazy, and 50% people love it. I have people write me now 10 years after the videos and say, your videos changed my life. Everything changed for me once I watched this. But 50% of the people say, you live in your mother's basement. You're crazy. And so, no, the channel didn't get everything out. But I will tell you that anybody who's ever watched my videos and then talked to me and then listened to our other material for hours, they all say, it's fucking interesting right here. It's fucking interesting. You guys aren't as crazy as I thought. So again, it's like if you have something complex to present, you need a long window of time to present it. And we'll go back to what you were saying about couples. Why do they need to talk to the turkey? Why do they need to talk to the turkey? Yeah, the bird.
No, the turkey, it's, you eat him afterwards.
Okay, you eat him, yeah. Okay, why do they need to talk to the bird and not to their partner? Because they have something so big to get out that they need space to get it out.
Because they are afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid. And
to be hurt, they're afraid to hurt someone else.
Kim.
They are afraid to lose.
Afraid.
They are afraid to lose. This
Kim.
is the truth. And also in spirituality, when we are not, that's what I think, when we are not, when we are hiding our spiritual side, because we are afraid, people they will think that we are crazy.
Okay.
It's a choice that we can do, and sometimes it's better for us logically in real life, because there are people who thinks that people are crazy. And there was one time that Litan Hali lost her suitcase when she was in the army in Jerusalem, and she in a cab she put it on the baggage, and the cab went away, and the suitcase went lost. We didn't know what kind of cab was it. We tried to I made all logical acts to find the suitcase. I called the police for the missing things. I called the cabs. I did everything logically. Nothing happens. No one told me that they can find the suitcase. And then one day, I decided, on Tuesday, we are going to look for your suitcase in Jerusalem. And Litan Ali said, yes, we are going to look for my suitcase in Jerusalem. And we went on with a train to Jerusalem, and everyone in my family thought that I'm crazy. My partner, my children, everyone, except me and Litan Ali. We went to Jerusalem.
I think I'm crazy and I'm loving it.
And we went to find the suitcase, the suitcase.
Yes.
And I will make the long story short. It's like some end from above led us in few places in Jerusalem to a place that I bought orange juice, and the son of the owner of the orange juice knew all the cab drivers, and when I just talked about it, he said, wait a minute. He called the driver, and in 5 minutes I got the suitcase back. It's not logical. The odds are...
I don't even remember about what, guys, you started to talk about, but I feel that
about craziness. About
okay, I want to take the wheels for a second. I don't know, the mushchot. How would I say it in
the
English?
wheel.
Because I feel that we're going on the surface, and we're not going deep. תרתי משמע. Let's do the guide for the beginner spirituality explorer. Because that we already mentioned that spirituality is so big and so you can define it, and if you have definition for it, so everybody will define it differently, and it's like Joe said, that it's how you find yourself inside of the spirituality. Now we're going to give you things that you can do at home or start doing, like you are exploring something new, right? Like
Like a game.
I never went swimming because I was afraid, or because, I don't know, my mom didn't let me, but now I'm going to swim. Maybe I will put my leg inside the water and say, oh my God, no, swimming is not for me. 3 years. And I will come back in 3 years. And maybe I will put my leg inside the water and I will start swimming, and oh my God, I found something, and I found something. But we never know until we are going through the experience. So I'm offering you to drop all the labels and drop the past and just be with. And you don't have to define yourself in any way. Start meditate, even if it's like 30 seconds. Start read books that helps you to get a better understanding of who you are in the way of what is your
Mission.
mission. We all want to know our mission. It's not that easy, but yes. But in the way of what is that triggers me, like when I'm getting upset, and why am I getting upset specifically there? And what habits do I have that I don't want anymore, or what habits I want to start to develop? Start doing things you never done. Never. Even if it's mean, that you're now going to this Gaga dancing class that you thought you will never do, and you will go there and you're like, okay, oh my God, what am I doing here right now? Okay, I'm leaving. But only the fact that you were in motion, that you act, that you did something that you never did, will develop your spirituality. Either you are aware of that or you're not. And it's funny because I opened this book. This book waited for me, like 5 of them here, and they are never here. This is God. You're reading God, He's coming. And I understood why just afterward, after I put him there, and then I took them back. I don't know if you ever heard about the Kabbalah, about the Zohar, about the Bible or not, but part of spirituality, she said, people looking for answer. A lot of people, and it doesn't have to be like a Zohar book, it can also be a songs book, it can also be even like a children fairy tale. You can close your eyes, take deep breath, and open the book. And then a word open up for you. And you can look at the word and think about the word and the world, and think about the question that you just asked. And you will get the answer because you are making the answer. But I open it, and it's pop up about the context of a conversation. And why it's funny? Because she said communication and answer. And inside of it, they're talking about that in the Bible, so we always need to find something new inside of ourselves, inside of the world. Always be in
Motion.
In motion, in human sense. Always find new thing inside of us. Always. And this is spirituality. The motion. The new things, the new understanding, the new answer, the new games, the new orgasma even. I always said orgasma in
I'm not familiar with that word.
but yes, okay. But with bloody tampons you do.
I thought you said it. That's not what it is.
Even taking a sage and lighting it up, just because you heard it's supposed to do something. And maybe it will make you feel so silly. But still, it makes you feel something.
Or maybe take a shower with salt.
Inside of spirituality, you have a lot of things. And it takes a lot of years to understand all of the things. Like, it takes a lot of years to understand ourselves. So the thing is not to understand what it is. The thing is to choose, and it's a choice, to take the first step inside of the spirituality. And the first step can be, I stop telling myself that I can't connect to girls that are spirituality because I'm not. I can choose to say, okay, maybe I'm not spiritual, but I can connect with people that are not. That are.
That they are.
Yeah. Or they are not. Because the point is, the infinity doesn't have ending or beginning, right? You can go through it and go back and go and go and go and go and go.
And vice versa. They have infinity points of starting and ending.
Every ending is a new beginning.
Yes.
When was your first spiritual experience?
When I met God, when I've been 1 year old, and they gave me this vaccine twice, and I got almost died, and I went to make a tour, and met God upstairs.
I'm sorry, what?
I was about 1 year old. It was my birthday.
Yeah.
And they gave me like a vaccine, like a ababot. I don't know the word in English, It's like a vaccine that you do for little children. And they gave it to me twice because they thought that the first one didn't work. And it just make like a shock to the body. And
you died.
Like I died. Yeah. I wasn't here for about 3 days.
When you were 1 year old?
1 year old. I was in the hospital, wandering around in God's garden.
And you remember? Remember it?
The wandering? I don't remember the wandering, but I know as a grown-up that this was the first step of spirituality because I know that the connection between me and God started there. I just know it. Now, if someone hears what I'm saying now, and now I'm grown up, 62 years old lady, she's a lawyer, she's normal sometimes, and speaking like this, it's they can think that I'm crazy.
Who are you without spirituality?
Without spirituality?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have answers to questions. I need spirituality so I can get answers, because like my answers come from like my gut. So without it, I'm kind of lost. Like,
who are you without spirituality?
I'm not. I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual because it's part of me. I don't know how to live differently. I can't understand people who I even sometimes pity them because it's very. I think that if they cannot cling to anything, there's nothing in their life. People, we cannot cling to people. People, now they're here, tomorrow they're there. Money, now is here, tomorrow is there.
Okay, and thank you for your answer, I agree.
Sure.
And this is why spirituality is a super strength. Because if I don't have spirituality or whatever, and I need to know, right? Because if I'm not spiritual, I always have answers as well. There was the Big Bang. I'm working for my money. I know what people I connect with, click with, and what people I don't. And I know everything.
1 + 1 is 2.
And it's so okay. If you know everything, why you're here? Spirituality is the fun of not knowing. It's the fun of letting go. It's the fun of, okay, test me, universe, test me. I will be able to deal with the thing that will come. And as a child, we are playing all the time. Who never said, oh my God, childhood is fun, I wish I was 8 years old again. This is spirituality. The freedom. The trusting, that it doesn't matter what kind of a mistake I will do right now. Fuck it. Screw it. I'm learning. I'm moving. I'm letting myself, I'm allowing myself to try new things. And I'm allowing myself to put in the side the thing that I'm really sure about. And to walk with my truth, but my truth is always with a mark of a QA. That's it. This is me. I'm going to, I don't know, who is the Biden? Is the government?
Yes, the president, the vice president, the president of the United States. You're going to be the president of the United States?
No, because the power of a word. You ever heard about manifest in writing?
Explain.
Like you can write things and to create them in the, I don't know, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, 2 years later.
I mean, this is my whole life. That's all I do is try to manifest things by thinking them and writing them. So yes.
Can you try to give the understanding of what it is to a person that doesn't know what it is?
Yeah, sure. For me, it's an act of humility. So it's like, I want something to happen in the world. I can pretend like I know how to make it happen. I don't. So what you do is you give the intention over to other forces. And the way you give it to them is you write it down or you ask for it, and then you wait. And maybe answers come or maybe things happen. And you don't know how they happen. But you've let go, like you said. You let go and you turn it over. And that's like what manifesting is. Manifesting is different from making something happen or doing something because you're admitting that you don't know how to do it. So.
I agree. I'm asking because it's just interesting because not me, not you, been in his shoes, ever. Like since I was a child, I was spiritual. Also you, and also you. And I'm wondering, you said I'm pity them, whatever, it doesn't matter. How is to be not spiritual at all?
I don't believe that people are really not spiritual.
I know,
at all.
I know that really, I know, but I'm speaking.
You mean
from,
those who think they are
from
not?
the shame, okay? From the
No,
whatever,
they
the
think they are
shadow.
not. Yes. You know, you have, let's take someone we know, like Sean, your little brother, who declares that he's not spiritual and is in high tech. And when you are talking to him with your spiritual ways, he does like this.
Take his eyebrow up.
Yes. And he doesn't believe at things like this at all. But it's not really true, because there are times that he did ask things that are spiritual in few times in his life, and he chose to be very kind to almost everyone, and he is choosing every day to help his friends, and this is spirituality. This is something that he does without calling the name of it. But that's why I don't believe that there are really people who are not spiritual at all. There are people who are afraid to tell, to say it, to declare.
By the way, I don't want to scare you. I need my sleeping hours. To scare you. But I heard that people that really backing off of spirituality, they are souls that used to be really spirituality, like really high level of spirituality, and they came back to this life, from past life, and they wanted to learn some lesson, and the fact that they came from a past life of really high level of channeling and like connecting to other forces, to a place that they are not spiritual at all, that's it. So it could be that you used to be a really, really spiritual soul in some past life.
Mm-hmm.
Why you did your first 10 years ago, your first episode, why you opened the channel? You remember the moment of the decision?
The motivation.
The decision, the motivation, okay, I'm going to put, what was the first video?
Okay, so I was studying coincidences at the time, because I found that when I would think things, I would see it in the world, or it would happen in the world. And also I had a lot of experience with manifesting things. So I knew there's some unseen
forces. Can you give
one
example of manifesting something?
Yeah, I manifested my career in basketball.
For example?
Well, I asked for things.
I know.
I asked for it in the big picture, asking for it, not knowing how it would happen, and continuing to ask and know that the answers would come only by asking. It's really that simple. To go to sleep and say, how do I do this? And to believe that when I wake up, the answer will come. So that's what I was doing my whole life with basketball. Because you have to make a million decisions. Anyways, so I made my channel because I was studying the relationship of coincidences, and I wanted to talk about it. So that's what my first video is about. It's about coincidences.
But you also have a video about the fact that some details of like 9/11 are in movies. Can you share about that?
Sure. So I talk about the symbolism that we don't recognize, but that's in our world, and how our spirit recognizes symbols that our brain can't recognize, and we connect with the symbols. And so when people want to make powerful stories and they put these symbols in them, the audience can sometimes connect with the story without understanding why. So I use 9/11 as a symbol, and I explain how it's incorporated into stories and why people are like attracted to these stories.
Can you go even one layer down, like give specific?
Sure. So what happened on 9/11? The Twin Towers were attacked and they fell down. It was a terrorist attack, sure. Well, you can strip all of the details away and look at the symbols of it. So what is the symbols? Two giant structures, like two stable structures that you thought could never fall. They fell. And in replacing them, one structure came up. So that is like a symbolic episode. So if you want to take that symbol and move it to somewhere else in life, you could say, okay, maybe I have two very strong structures in my life that help me in my life, a part of my identity maybe. And then one day, I destroy them. It's the same symbolic process as 9/11. And then maybe after I destroy them, I build one very strong structure to replace them, like a very strong new behavior or a new identity. That process of like individual destruction and rebirth, it's the exact same process of 9/11 from a symbolic standpoint. So I just show the connection between the symbolism, and I show that when we see 9/11, our brains see the terrorist attack, but our intuition sees the symbols. And so I show where those symbols exist in the world.
And this is what makes the channel a bit unique, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, as a soul that explore a lot of English and American videos of spirituality, part of my journey, part of my destruction and building, I didn't met a channel, another channel on YouTube that speaking spirituality or sharing spirituality knowledge in that way of symbols.
Yeah,
So you also don't know about other channel like this?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
And this was a channel that gave you an inspiration? Or you figured out about this channel after you opened your channel?
No, I was inspired by my life experience combined with these other channels.
That's cool.
What I'll say is I think that all good spirituality information talks about symbols. And so if you study spirituality, you study symbols, I think.
What is this?
So that's, yeah. So look, you want me to talk about it or you talk about it?
I'm asking you, what is this?
Well, I would say it's a good example of a symbol that some people think is just a shape and some people think it's a symbol. But regardless of what you think, your like gut inside you, when it sees it, it thinks something. That's what makes it a symbol. Does that make sense?
For me, yes, but I want you to try to make sense to people that don't know what it is, or still it's not doing anything to them.
Sure. So let's say someone who's not spiritual might look at this and say it's a triangle.
You can't have just sitting here, like playing with their finger.
Okay, so someone not spiritual might look at that and say it's a triangle, but I think that someone spiritual would look at it and say it's something more, and the reason is because their gut looks at it and sees a visual representation of a hierarchy. And a hierarchy is important to humans because at the top of a hierarchy is the ultimate creative force that's in charge or that gave us life.
Do you know about did you watch Netflix?
No.
At all?
Never.
So you didn't hear about Manifest, like the 8 to 8 plan?
No.
Okay.
But I'm sure I know what it's about.
Okay. I'm going to give you a question.
Sure.
And you have 3 seconds to answer.
Yeah.
Before you're going to do that, three of us putting the left hand on our heart chakra and the right hand on our heart chakra, and we'll take in deep breath. Keep your eyes closed, feel the floor, feel the cold,
Your eyes weren't closed.
trust issues.
Your eyes are open.
Because I am the host, somebody need to host it.
So,
And I can watch, I can do both with my eyes. Because I train my mind to
Oh my
exactly
God.
breathe, connect yourself, breathe. Keep your eyes closed. And Joe, I'm starting with you.
so
Surprising, right?
mm,
You have 3 seconds to answer.
yeah.
Why spirituality is a super strength?
Because we're all lost and don't know what we're doing. And we need better answers. It has to come from our gut.
Smadar, mom, sister, why do spirituality is a super strength?
Because spirituality is life.
Why spirituality is strength.
Spirituality is a super strength because it's talking for us. It's talking for us because sometimes we are too loud with our outside voices, but our inner voices knows it all.
Y'all were just going to let me sit like this for the rest of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the way. This is the way for you to
Communicate.
to be a Tuki, to be a pirate.
Parrot.
Yeah, but I want to take 3 minutes and to end the show. It's the first time that I feel that we are going around a subject, but I feel whole with that because the only way to understand what is spirituality is to understand that you can't understand spirituality. You only can feel it. This is what I think. I can speak with big words and I can give example of tools that can help you to feel it, but not to understand it. I think that no one really understands what is spirituality because, like, you can understand air, no, but you can feel wind.
Because you cannot touch it, but the fact that we are sitting here, 3 logical people that did something in their life, speaking about spirituality openly, it's very important for people to understand that it's okay to be spiritual. It's okay to feel that you are connected to a force, to God or something that gives you answers. And you can choose the ways that you communicate. It's okay.
2 things in 2 minutes. What is this?
That was my hat that you're
Except
trying
if it's going to be my
that you're trying
hat.
to steal. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it is.
exactly. This is
you
going
want
to be
to steal it.
my hat. but
Mapito.
this is your favorite hat.
Yeah, it's my favorite hat.
Why?
It's the only one that looks good on me. If you find me a better hat that looks good on me, then you can keep that one.
This is your favorite hat because
my
you
favorite hat.
decided it looks
I know it looks good.
the only one.
Yeah, the only
The
one.
only hat in the world.
So far, yeah. I don't like to wear sports hats. I like to wear non-sport. I like
And this
it.
is Chinese on the
I think it's Japanese. It's not Chinese. Because it's Goku from Dragon Ball Z. He's Japanese. Why you want it?
I don't know, I like orange, I think. But if we're about colors in spirituality, we have our chakras. You ask about the yogi. And the triangle is a lot of things, but the triangle also means a really important thing that I'm repeating it all the time, but I will repeat it again. We are mind, body, and soul, spirit / you can't develop just one layer. You can't. If you will not do yoga or Pilates or work on your joint mobility and your muscles and your body, so you're blocking an energy channel. But if you will not work on your mind to train it, you can be the most flexible yogi in the world, but you will still not be connected to your strength and self-love and self-assurance and the ability to make a decision. And if you will not be brave enough to meet yourself in the mirror, to know where you are still bullshitting yourself about things that you are afraid of, or or dreams you didn't fulfill, or beliefs that keeps you in a safe mode, you can have like this crazy cool winner, but you don't have your base. And I open, the page is going to close this spirituality episode. And and I found kisses inside of it.
Kisses?
And David HaMelech.
ברור.
And I will read one sentence. I'm hoping that I'm translating right, but this is the best I can do, so spirit, talk instead of me, okay? The knowledge you are creating. The knowledge you are creating, like the power of a human. And I will try to explain it. Look how beautiful okay, it's going to be beautiful. Oh my God, it's going to be really beautiful. We started this show, we said we are looking for answers, right? But the real truth is that we are looking for answers, but we also the one that creating the answers. That makes sense.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Of course, because we are creating our reality. We are creating our future. That's what I told you at the beginning of the show.
So
and David HaMelech came to close the show.
No, that's okay. But the fact that we are looking for answer, but we are the one that's creating the answer, means that the answers is always and only
inside us?
Yeah, it's in your gut.
here. And here, everyone has the sparkle of Goddess, Elohima, Force, Universe, David HaMelech, whatever you want. If you want, I can give you a tampon with blood and I will take the hat. If not, we can light it and end the show with the... But I'm going to put here the link to the channel. I also watch few of the, not all of them, but few of the videos. And I think that at least it will leave you with like, huh? And this weird guy told me once, even if they think that you are thinking about yourself, that you are the center of the universe, they're still thinking about you.
And probably you are.
So even if someone watches your video and they're like, you still watch your video.
No. Good work.
We all people. Spirit. Ciao.
Ciao.